This looks familiar to you guys. We're in the S15 today. Oh boy. This thing hasn't seen use in so long that it actually has cobwebs on it. Go figure. It also sounds like death. It sounds like it's rod knocking, but I'm pretty sure it's just like loose flywheel bolts or something. There's cobwebs here too. They're everywhere. Playing musical cars out here right now. One day we'll have all the cars nice, pretty, and working at the same time. Mark my words. It's the goal. New Year's resolution. Don't forget to get your Gabby lanyard. Even though it looks better on the lanyard than in real life, not for long. All right, now we're on to the Z. Poor thing's been sitting outside. Stupid car shuts off and dies every time I turn the fan on, so I gotta get home fast. That makes sense. Man, I love how this thing sounds. Minus the flywheel vibration. It's crazy how this car feels like it spools faster than the R32. Even with the lifted head. The vibration's terrible. I really have missed this car. I like SRs, they're good. That does not sound right. Good thing is we're pretty sure it's the flywheel situation and not the actual engine. Mustang now, and we're making, whoa, wow, that's zoomed in to Enjuku Racing is where we are going. Gonna film a little S15 update and hopefully not get stuck in too much traffic. I'm heading out a little bit later than I would have preferred. The Mustang's on the 85, so it's okay. It's crazy how much more responsive the mid-range of this car is on the 85. It's just like explosive power. I don't know if the video translates that or not. And we have arrived. All right, this is actually really exciting for me because this is the first time I've ever been here, being like the last person to where we can film with dead silence. So you'll actually be able to hear us as we talk about the S15. I feel like compared to other videos that we've made, you'll start to really see how everything's coming together in this one. First of all, what I think you guys are gonna be quite excited for is to see that under the hood of this S15, there is a 2JZ. So they kind of suggested, and I also agree that it was a really good idea, since the 2J had been sitting for almost a year, they took it to their machine shop and had everything gone over to make sure that everything was still properly lubricated. So the whole entire thing was disassembled and reassembled again. Is it gonna rip? Oh yeah. It's gonna rip. If you're curious what engine mounts we're using, they're actually ISR engine mounts. However, they're flipped around backwards since we don't have to worry about all the lines and stuff that run behind the head. It's just to move it a little bit farther back, which I assume is just to get a little bit better weight distribution.
Better weight distribution and a little more room up front.
Our beautiful Sleeper Designs intake manifold is just on there for mock-up purposes, just to make sure everything fits.
Yep.
And
figure out where everything's got to go.
And you're explaining to me that because of kind of where this is placed with the whole entire front end assembly, you're going to have to do something similar to what you did on Kevin's car.
Right.
You don't think it looks cool. I think it's cool.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. Bub's very, very particular about stuff. That's why we get along great, right, Bub?
Sure.
He really hates me. Today I was talking to him about putting a cage in the Skyline with full interior. Oh, he doesn't like full interior. He's a race car kind of guy. All right, so we'll start talking about the inside. Today our main purpose of me being here was to figure out the seating position. This is actually one of Kevin's seats out of the Skyline. This was just for mock-up purposes, but I am gonna have the same seat. Obviously the pedals are fully adjustable, so we can kind of put them wherever. But other than that, looks like the Samsonite shifter is kind of like being mocked up. Am I missing anything?
Not really. We're just finding locations for shifter, handbrake, pedals, seat, where everything's got to go.
And then, can you show the very cool trap door?
Oh, the cool trap door?
Yeah.
Well, it'll spring up, but...
I think it has like the same type of fasteners that we have on Nicole's hood, right? Are these called like quick latch?
Yes. Yep, quick latches.
Yeah, that's really cool. So that way we can access and service everything if we need to add fluid or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, it's really clean up there. What's the purpose of not having it under the hood? Just like no fire?
You want to try to keep heat out of your brake system. So having the reservoir inside the car versus inside the engine bay with all the heat, it's just going to do better.
We've also learned too, when brake fluid leaks, it is indeed flammable and it will catch your S13 on fire. I wish I knew that at the time, but I didn't. Yeah, I think you should work doing the fans. I guess that's just tire smoke. I just got a little nervous when this seems to be coming.
Is it okay?
It smells a little funny, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, something's smoking.
Yeah, alright, pull over the car. Get out.
Something's fried. The brake doesn't work.
The brakes are out?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
What'd I
get in
do?
the car. Get out.
Oh, I broke the car.
Babe, it's on fire. Get out.
Get in the car. Get out. The hood's popped. Use it. Right there in the front.
Oh, I wasn't even filming. I'm so sorry, Adam.
Was it filming?
No, I'm so sorry.
Well, the car caught on fire.
I'm so sorry. I think you were filming and I didn't know, so I pushed the button. I was so stressed out. The car was on fire. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry guys.
So it looks like you're starting to mock up the water lines, and is all the bracketry pretty much ready for the fuel cell to be mounted?
Yep. I mean, fuel cell is basically mounted. I just have to put all the nut bolts and whatnot in it.
All right. Can you take over on the rear end of the car? Because this is where stuff starts getting kind of complicated.
This is a very specific design that I've been using for the past 3 race cars that I've built. I have primary bash bars and then a actual bumper bar that everything attaches to. So you have body panels that attach to it. You've got bash bars, taillights, jack points. It's the main structure of the back. The difference on yours and compared to everyone else, this is all removable. Should you ever really just, put this thing in the wall, this can all be taken out and rebuilt. I have files for all this stuff, so it's pretty easy just to replicate it.
It's kind of hard to see in there, but that part just unbolts, and all this part down here. Isn't there some rule in FD about like what can unbolt and what can't? Isn't there like some weird rule in the rear?
It's a kind of a loaded question. It's actually where you can cut, what can be attached and how it can be attached. Where your cut lines depend on where your suspension is at, how you bolt it. You can do slips with pins, you can do bolt-on stuff, so it's just a combination. It has to be done in a specific way.
Radiator. Custom.
Custom radiator, custom mount, custom design.
Is it going to be cool?
It's going to be cool in both ways.
All right, so we'll go down low, and underneath here we have a custom Bub Fab modified subframe. Wait, you modified that, right?
Actually, I had Tommy do it.
Oh.
I've done a couple of them.
He's fake. He's a phony.
I'm not a fake. I just share my designs with other people so that they do the work, not me.
All right, so in here we have a Winners quick change.
It's actually the newer version that MA worked with Winners to create. Their old version was a 12 bolt. This is a 6 bolt. So it makes it even faster on your quick change. It's a standard differential, but it has an extra shaft so that it has a gear in the bottom, which transfers up to another shaft at the top that transfers all the thing. And those 2 gears, when you change them, it changes your ratio. So you can do this in 5 minutes, and you can change your gears in 5 minutes.
Hence why it's called a quick change. So we just pull those 6 bolts out, and I've seen people do this at the track on their Instagram stories. It seems like it's a pretty quick ordeal.
Yep. You can be very quick about it. If you're fast enough about it, the fluid that you lose in here, you don't necessarily have to replace. So if you're in a pinch and you need to change them quickly, you can just pop it off, pull the gears, put new gears on, put the cover back on. The fluid that's in the main case will eventually flow into the back, and you only lost a half a quart out of a 3-quart system. And it's not detrimental to this, to the differential.
Here's a better look at everything from underneath, in case it was kind of hard to understand what was going on from up top. You can see the jacking point right there. I assume that you don't want to jack from a fancy quick change, is that correct?
No, you want to try to keep away from damaging stuff like that. There's actually a skid plate that we need to add to the bottom of this because there's some tracks that you come off the bank so hard that the back end will actually smack the ground.
Now, quick changes typically with the kits that are sold out there, they tend to hang pretty low, so it is a really big issue with cars that are somewhat low, where people are scraping them on the ground. My friend is S13, he has a quick change that I remember he was scraping on the ground all the time. So the way that he does it, it is actually tucked up a little bit higher.
I do it higher.
The way that the seat's being mounted is a little bit different than just bolting it to the floor. Do you want to explain why?
Bolting it to the floor is still not 100%. I mean, your body metal is typically 20 to 22 gauge steel. That's not a lot for, a 150 plus pound person. It's going to be just way too flimsy. You can add plates to it and it'll increase the safety of that, but if you really truly want to make sure that you stay inside the car, inside the seat, and the seat stay planted, you want to weld it to the cage or anything stronger than just floor metal. So we kind of did that with your car. Eventually these brackets will be shortened. I'm gonna make a giant mess.
Sorry, Kevin. We didn't mean to scratch your seat.
Eventually these rails will be welded in here. There'll be additional bracing on here. It's not welded to the floor, but it is welded to key points, and it's going to be far stronger than just hollow floor pans.
We have one last thing up our sleeves that we're gonna have to go fetch and put on the car real quick to show you. All right, so something very exciting that I know we told you guys about a long time ago, but is now done. We have a full carbon fiber skin for the roof. Now this is actual carbon fiber. Bub, you wanna lift this with one finger with me if we can?
Balance.
You guys won't be able to tell, but what would you say this weighs, like maybe 5 pounds? 10 pounds?
Yeah, maybe 5.
It's extremely light. So we have a friend, Anthony, his company is called Lolo Carbon, and he actually used my friend James, who has an S15 in Tampa, brought it out, and Anthony made a mold of his roof because mine was dented in, and he made us this 100% custom. No one else has this mold, carbon fiber roof skin for my S15, and it's rad.
It is rad. It doesn't have a dent in it anymore.
I know, it's so pretty. The question is, this is 100% an option, and I don't know if I'm leaning towards any particular way. Should we make the carbon fiber roof removable so we can cruise around with a giant caged sunroof? Is that something that we should do? Bub just wants, like, we wouldn't do any sort of like quick release fastener because obviously you don't want the roof flying away, but that is 100% an option that we could do. Man, this roof came out so cool. He also is the same person that makes these rad pieces, the carbon Kevlar. He'll be helping us make some for my dash, but just a little accents like that look so nice. And ironically, he also owns an R32 sedan, gang. And he just got married. Congrats, newlywed. Married, gang.
Congrats, dude.
All right, so that's about it here. I think, Bub, you said maybe by the end of the month, the chassis will go to get powder coated?
Yep, that's what we're pushing for. It'll be either late August or first week of September.
And that's when things are gonna get real exciting. You guys will start to see all the hard work paying off, because right now, it's just brackets and brackets and
more brackets.
Lots of brackets.
Lots of brackets.
Bub's brackets coming soon. All right, I'm gonna go head out of here. Thank you, man.
Cool.
Much appreciated.
Yep.
That was terrible. Let's do that again. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. I love how this thing sounds on E85. Makes all the good popping noises. Nicole, let me get a hair flip. Nicole's great, magnificent new hair. Always switching up with the colors. What color did you do?
No, it washes out to like this icy blonde because she bleached out the teal and I wanted to go back to dark purple. I was like, wait, I like that. Can we make it like icy? So she did this like violet, hold on one second, what's the word?
Wait, is it really gonna change colors when you wash it?
Like undertones. It's just gonna get more icy-ish.
Icy. Her hair is icy.
But I gotta wash it.
Oh.
I gotta wait 72 hours. Hashtag keratin problems.
So I figured I would try to kind of like update you guys on something, since it isn't something that I've just like come out and said or anything. But if you've noticed that Nicole hasn't been in the videos as much, it's kind of in an effort to create a better work-life balance and kind of have more clear-cut boundaries. So that way when we're hanging out and doing stuff together, it's really just hanging out and doing stuff together, because sometimes the camera can kind of like feel like it's still work, even though we're documenting our days and it's not really work. I think some of you guys will understand, some of you guys won't understand, but on one side, it's really awesome having Nicole in the videos, but on the other side, it's really awesome just spending time together and not worrying about filming or any of that stuff. So that's why a lot of the videos have been kind of like cut off after the garage stuff, trying to kind of make it more of a traditional job. But then at the same time, I wasn't really happy with only like filming videos in the garage, so I started trying to incorporate more of the day and stuff. But it's just, that's kind of one of those things that we got to figure out, especially if this is like a full-time thing. We have to find what like works best and all that. But anyway, I just want to fill you guys in on that. After we looked at all the S15 stuff, tomorrow me and Alberto are gonna probably dive into the S13 a little bit, and we got a fun week in Connecticut ahead of us. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are excited and stoked for the S15, and I will see you tomorrow.
Bye!